Hey guys, it's Mooty here, and today I'm going to show you how you can make Pokemon that will pass through Wi-Fi and BattleSpot, and in general kind of show you how you can make Pokemon and then put them by the injection method that I showed yesterday, because some people were having problems and some people had questions. I will have the link to the PKHeX exe file down in the, not in the comments, but in the description. I'll link to the forum post, and then so you're going to want to start off right now is with your species of Pokemon. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that the easiest Pokemon to make are the ones that you'll be hatching, because you can just set it as one thing and that will work for most Pokemon that aren't legendary Pokemon or Pokemon that you catch in the wild and can't be bred. But as long as it's bred, which is the majority of Pokemon, this way will work for most things. Not for legends, because that's going to require a bit more extensive research to do and make the locations legit, but for hatching it's fairly simple. So right now, as you can see, it does come up as Japanese, so what you want to do is change the language to English, French, Italian, whatever your region is, change it to that. Just to make it easier, just change it to whatever region applies to you. In my case, it's English, and then you'll see the name. It comes up right here as the English name. You can choose to nickname it, check this box, and give it whatever name you may want. I can do Mooty, I can do whatever, or you can uncheck it, and then it goes back to Milotic. Right over here, you will see the gender, and if you want male or female, you just click on it, and it'll alter accordingly. You don't want to touch the shiny or the PID just yet. I usually leave that until the end. So right here you want to do level. For BattleSpot and Wi-Fi, really you only need to go up to 50 if you want, or you can go up to 100 and the experience will change accordingly to that. So next you'll do nature. For mine I'm going to do bold, but you can pick any nature from the drop down box, which is literally anything. And for held items, this is also a good method to use if you need to get a certain item in a game, or you only have like one leftovers and you want another one, then you can just do that, and then once you gen it into your game, you can just take it off of that Pokemon and get it that way. For friendship, if you're running return or frustration, you can put it at 0 or 255. If you click on the friendship here, it'll just automatically make it 255, or you can change it manually. For the form here, let's say you want to change it and make it to like, let's say you're doing Rotom and you need to change a Rotom form, then this is where you'll see it pop up, and you'll just pick it from the drop down below. For the ability, you're going to come up with 3 legal abilities, and that's Marvel, Skill, Competitive, and Cute Charm. Competitive is going to be the one I'm running. If you're running a hidden ability on your Pokemon, make sure that the hidden ability has been released and is legal, otherwise it will not work. For the next thing, okay, this is where if you accidentally check this is an egg, and you'll have a hatch counter appear, and that's how many steps it's going to take to hatch your Pokemon. Just make sure you don't check is an egg, because then the first Pokemon that you inject will be an egg, and that might be one of the problems that you're having while trying to put Pokemon into your game. And another thing, if you want your Pokemon to have Pokerus, you can just check the infected box, and if you want it to be cured from Pokerus, you can check the cured box over here, and I don't really want either, so I'll uncheck both. For country, I am in the United States, so I'm going to click that and just pretty much do whatever region I am in. My 3DS region is America, and my sub-region would be New York. So, and that's fairly simple. Just do whatever applies to you, and then you should be done with this whole page. Quickly run through it, and you should be good. So this is another really important part of making the Pokemon, is right here. You'll have the origin game. If you pick anywhere from Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, X, or Y, you will have the Pentagon automatically. So if you're going for Pokemon that have Pentagons, this is what you should be doing. If you're going for Pokemon that you want in Alpha Sapphire or Omega Ruby, then just pick one of these. For the hatching method, you are better off picking one of the Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, as if you hatched it within that game. So here you're going to check in as egg, and this is always going to be daycare helpers, and the date you want to set to something that's actually, within the proper time period. So today's for January 26, 2015, so I'm going to set it as that. This will be the day that you obtain the egg, and then this will be the day that you hatch the egg and the location that you hatched the egg. So you're going to want to set this to a day that's after this date or the same day of. So I'm going to set this as January 26th, 2015. And then the Met level has to be 1 because you hatch a Pokemon at level 1. The Pokeball that you hatch it in is also just as important. So make sure it's a Pokeball that this Pokemon can actually be obtained in. Like, some Pokemon cannot be obtained in Dream Balls, for instance. So just, if you really want to be safe, make sure it's a Pokeball or just one of the generic balls. Next, you want to do a Met location. This is exactly where you hatch the egg. Most of my eggs get hatched at the Battle Resort next to the daycare helpers, so I'm going to set it as the Battle Resort. And you should be over here. Don't check Faithful and Counter, but everything else over here should be good. Next, we're going to go into the stuff that actually matters, and this is the stats, which is EVs and IVs. So if you'd like to either go for max IVs, then there's no way to like max it out, I don't think, but you just type 31 into each IV. If you want a speed of 0, you obviously type 0, and if there are any hidden powers, then just look up the IVs for that. For the purposes of this, I'm going to do 252 HP, 252 defense, and 4 special attack. But you'll notice that if you do 252 here, this will pop up telling you that you're going over your EV limit. So I'm going to just do 4 for that, and this section should be all fine. Next, you're going to go for attacks, and relearn moves are basically egg moves that you can give it. So I think one of the egg moves my load it gets is like Hypnosis. So if you wanted it to potentially go to the heart scale and move relearner, then you can teach it Hypnosis. You can leave this field blank because theoretically if you give it a current move of, you know, Hypnosis, then it'll be able to learn Hypnosis anyway. But I think if yeah, I'm going to leave this blank right now as none because none of my moves are even egg moves, and I don't think I'll need any egg moves, so you don't have to touch this area. So for my moves, I'm going to do Recover, I'm going to do Ice Beam, and then I'm going to do Scald, and the last slot can be something like Toxic if you're running singles, or Protect if you're running, not even Protect if you're running doubles, but we'll just go with Toxic. Since most of these are TMs, I know I'm fine, and this is a level up move. Also make sure if you're doing level up moves, your Pokemon is actually at the level in which it can learn the move. That might be a problem you're having if you're doing the moves incorrectly. That's why even if you do level 100, it's probably the best, just in case the level up moves don't go up that high. So for the PowerPoint upgrades, you can just do 3 for everything. If you want them maxed out, then they'll automatically change to whatever the maxed out is, and then you should be okay with this set. So here you'll see trainer information. This is pretty important in terms of getting your trainer ID to match up with this, and the trainer ID here is your regular trainer ID that you'll find within your game, and that's visible to you easily. However, the secret ID is not as easy to get, and I will have a tutorial on how to do that at the end of this video, so you could scroll to the end of the video to find out how to do that. But for the purposes of this now, my trainer ID is 54387, and my secret ID is 32476, and my OT is Mooty, and my gender is female. So this is where you change gender once again by clicking, and this should be fine. Latest, and this is if this information is not your own information, you can put your OT over here because you would be the handler, but for the purposes of hatching, you don't even need to do this. So here you see Pentagon because you're going to be hatching this in ORAS. You can give it ribbons and medals if you like, but I prefer not to. And you can give it memories. Now this is pretty important, I guess, if you're doing VGC, because occasionally they use the memory to check to see whether or not a Pokemon is legal. So it's nice to set this from the default. So let's say it doesn't really matter which one you pick. So at random, I'm going to pick this one. And it says, Milotic looked down at the world from a tall tower where it went with Mooty. The Pokemon remembers that it was happy, but as long as you set it to something that isn't the default, it should be fine. And you can click save. And then here you want to re-roll this after you hit this, and the encryption constant should give you a number over here, and you'll be okay once you do that. Now we're going to go back to the main, and here we'll re-roll and we'll generate a PID, and you can set it to shiny. Now if you don't want it to be shiny and you accidentally hit it as shiny, then see, as you can see, you can't just unhit this, so you can just hit re-roll again and it will unshiny the Pokemon. But for the instances of this, I'm going to want to make it shiny, so you can hit shiny. But other than that, the information looks like it's okay. And this should go through. From what I'm looking at, it really should go through. It seems pretty good. And the way you save this is you click File and then you click Save As. Now this is where some people ran into a problem. So what you'll do is you see the Milotic and PKHeX file. So from this, you're changing it to all files. And from here, you're going to change it to Pokemon. It has to be named Pokemon.ekx. As long as you set it to Pokemon.ekx and all files, it will transfer in the right way. As you see, I already have a Pokemon.ekx in my SD card, but this will just overwrite whatever Pokemon file that is, as long as you're saving it to the root of your SD card right here. So I'm going to click Save, and then it's going to tell me that it already exists, and what you can just do is click Yes, and it'll overwrite it, and then you're fine. So once you start up your game, you're going to make sure that your Pokemon Box 1 Slot 1 has no Pokemon in it. That's my Box 2, but my Box 1 is completely empty, which is exactly how it should be. So from here, you can actually go off to Box 2. You don't even have to exit out. And then you can start the internet over here and click Open, and it'll open up the browser. Now, if you're having problems, you can always clear your cookies and clear your history. I'm just going to go straight to URL and type in, once it pops up, it actually takes a while to pop up, it's going to be load code dot project, go back, I forgot the J, project Pokemon .org, and hit confirm. Now here's where you're going to go through the process of, it's going to try connecting to the site, and then it's probably going to come up with a page of fail to load, and then from here, after a couple of seconds, the browser itself should crash, and then you can go back into your game and see the Pokemon in your game. So here you can see the browser crashed. You just click OK for this and you start up your game again. Like I said, I'm in Box 2, and now if I scroll over, there's the Milotic. So this is the Milotic I made. If you look at the summary of it, if you did everything correctly, then you'll see that it has your OT, your ID, it has, if you gave it any beauty, it should be here, and then the daycare helper should be here. If you have an egg apparently hatched or something like that, then you got your OT or trainer ID wrong, but if you did everything correctly, then this is what it should look like. So, and this is what a good Pokemon should look like. And now I'm going to show you that it does work on Battle Spot as well. If I move it over to my battle box for the purposes of this, and then we'll get on Battle Spot really quick, and I'll show you that it still works. And then some people were having issues because they said that it worked on Wi-Fi and Battle Spot, but it didn't work on Wondertrade. Now, the only reason I could think of that would be that if you had given it an item or a move that was ORAS exclusive, then it wouldn't work. If it has any ribbons or cherish balls, then it also wouldn't trade through that, but it would still work on Wi-Fi, and I believe it would also still work on Battle Spot. But if it's an event Pokemon, it won't go through, and things of that nature. If the items are ORAS exclusive, they also won't go through. So those are a couple of the reasons I could think of why it wouldn't go through. So now we have Battle Spot. As you can see, we're going to go to random matchup and rating battle, because really rating battle is the only battle that people play, and that really matters. So it's going to check your SD card, and then I'm going to click my battle box where I put the Milotic in. And then I usually do doubles. That's actually my doubles on my VGC team. We're going to go to battle box, and it's going to communicate. And from here, if everything is fine, you'll see that it comes up with the challenge and your Pokemon team is ready to battle. If you did this wrong, then it will not go through and it'll give you an error. So as you can tell, it does work on Battle Spot, which is the main thing that matters here. And then I'll show you that this does also Wondertrade, because for some reason people want to Wondertrade their Pokemon away, maybe, but I'm just going to move this back into my Box 1, and I'll show you that this also works on Wondertrade because I tried it out personally. So someone's going to get a nice Milotic, so I'm going to save and then save game and hit yes. So someone's going to get a nice Milotic, and you'll see that the Milotic that I'm trading off right now will also go through just fine. It's searching for a trade partner. Please wait a moment. And that actually does take a while. So I just want to say this is really the, I guess, the most effective method. Just make sure that the moves you're giving it are the correct moves. It's not something that it gets maybe in another generation of Pokemon, because if it gets it in another generation or it's exclusive in some way to a different game, then you have to have the information to trade it over. But since most Pokemon can be hatched through an egg and salved that way, and then this is really the most effective method for the majority of Pokemon. So as you can tell, it's going to Wondertrade, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So if you did, you can always leave a like, and I'll show you how you can get your secret ID. And if you have your secret ID and your trainer ID, this also means that you can nickname it whenever you want, and as it counts it under your trainer ID as if you hatched it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and as always, I love you guys, and have a wonderful day, and bye. So I'm going to be showing you how you can find the secret ID of your trainer, and you are going to want to boot up your PC and make sure that you have the things you need in order to do this first. So you're going to have your box 1, which is like the main box. So the first slot should be empty, because no matter what, you just keep the slot empty. And then you have to make sure that at least in one of your slots, you're going to have a Pokemon that belongs to you. For me, I have the Pokemon right over here. It's a Sharpedo, and it has my name under it, and it also has my OT. If you look at it closely, then it has Mooty, my OT, and my trainer ID, which is the information that I'm going to need. So this is just a random Sharpedo I got in game. So from here, as long as you make sure you have this, you're fine. You can go and do the web injection, whether or not you have a Pokemon file or not. If you don't have a Pokemon file, or if you have an incorrect Pokemon file, it will generate a bad egg. However, this egg can be overwritten once you fix the Pokemon file, or if you have no Pokemon file, or you just don't save it if you see that it has a bad egg. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit the home button on your 3DS, and then go to the web browser right over here and click open. And we're going to go through the same process that we did before in terms of injecting a Pokemon into the game. You're going to go to URL, and then you're going to have to go to, once this loads, just taking a while to load, you're going to go to load code dot project pokemon.org. So this is only if you have not previously done the injection, then you have to do this part, because it generates a file that you'll be using in order to find your secret ID, which will help in trying to make legit Pokemon. So once the browser crashes, you get an error has occurred on the bottom of your screen. You click OK, and then you can go back into the game. And then from my game, because either I had a Pokemon file or I didn't, I don't quite remember, but I think I may have. I had a Pokemon file for my Lodex, so that gets replaced, but if you had no Pokemon file, it will generate a bad egg. But the purpose of this is so that you can generate a bin file, because once you do that, you'll be able to import that bin file into the PKHeX program, and that'll be able to determine your secret ID. So once you put your SD card, into your laptop or your computer or whatever, you connect it to your computer, you go to open, and then you can migrate over to your card over here, and then under here you have all files, and then you'll see injection debug.bin, and this is a file you're going to want to import into the Pokemon Hex. It's going to become, it's going to give you an alert that says injection binary loaded. From here, you're going to go to tools, toggle box interface, and then you're going to open up a bigger file with this. So from here, you're going to see that this is the Sharpedo I had before. You right click and you click view, and then you're going to see that all of the information of the Sharpedo is here. So if you migrate over to the OT/miscellaneous, you'll see your trainer ID, your secret ID, and your OT. This is the information that you're going to need once you start creating legit looking Pokemon, so it's extremely useful to have on hand.